This article discusses how the COVID-19 pandemic affects women and men differently, and how it could affect the progress of gender equality in the workplace in the long run. It was written by Helen Lewis for The Atlantic and published on March 19, 2020. Lewis discusses how and why she believes the economic effects related to this pandemic will affect women disproportionately, and claims that women's independence may be a silent victim of this global pandemic. She claims that in a heterosexual relationship, women may be the spouse forced to sacrifice their work in order to take care of the newfound responsibilities at home, or as she calls it, the extra mandatory unpaid labor, and backs it up with statistics about how a greater percentage of women work part-time than men. These conditions may force families into selecting the highest paid parent to continue to work because of the economically challenging times, permanently setting back women's careers and lifetime earnings. In addition, Lewis discusses how there may be a rise in sexual violence, decreased access to contraceptives, and a rise in maternal mortality, and how all of this may more greatly affect women of minority groups. In the bigger picture, this will also affect organizations' progress towards creating gender equality in the workplace. Therefore, this pandemic may greatly affect the way companies have to approach improving gender equality in the future. It also puts a greater burden on the pregnant women in their creation of the maternal microbiome, the feminist perspective presented in Dr. Howe's Seeding the Future reading. Less prenatal care will be available to women during this time, yet the mother still remains accountable for the development of the child. Applying a feminist critique to this article, it's easy to see how the parameters set forth in society regarding women's roles affect the outcomes in these changing times. Society as a whole forces women to take on a caregiver role during times of crisis, and that ultimately affects women's equality in and outside the home.